Well, thank you for sticking with us after that debate. It was a fiery night with our four qualifying candidates taking shots at each other's policies. A lot of discussion surrounded the economy and international relations, particularly how to get involved in the Middle East and tackle undocumented immigration. But some of the typical debate stage jabs turned almost personal. So to help us break all of this down, we are joined now by Iowa State Professor of Political Science, Dr. Kelly Winfrey. Dr. Winfrey, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, with just under 6 weeks now before Iowans get to kick off this nominating process with our caucuses, did you see any clear winner on that stage tonight?
I wouldn't say there's a clear winner, but I think there's an acknowledgement from the other candidates that Nikki Haley has momentum. She was under attack by DeSantis and Ramaswamy pretty clearly. Christie a little bit, but Christie had her back in a few cases too. So I think that she kind of gained a little bit out of this performance. The others, I'm not so sure they got any, scored any points really from where they were.
Okay, and you mentioned Governor Christie there. He made an interesting point 17 minutes in that they had not yet even mentioned former President Trump, who is the juggernaut in the polls right now in that party. But then a lot of focus did turn towards former President Trump. He wasn't on the stage, but he was in a way on the stage. Was that a good strategy for the candidates as they try to, portray themselves as the Trump alternative?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky position for them, right? Because they need to both prove that they are the candidate to choose over Trump without alienating Trump supporters too much, and without falling into some of the things that the not Trump Republicans, like or don't like. So I think it was a tricky situation. I think Christie did a good job of reminding folks that Trump was not there, but was there. And I think some of the other candidates did a decent job of delineating themselves in a couple ways. Haley distinguished herself when it came to China, and DeSantis kind of distinguished himself in some ways, saying that in 2016, Trump didn't follow through on some of his promises. So there was a little bit there, but not a lot. I think the big challenge is that they've got to appeal enough to people who are not Trump supporters to get enough to beat Trump. And I just don't see that happening, at least in Iowa.
And in that effort to appeal, especially to Iowa voters, what do you make of these personal attacks? I mean, they really did get personal with name calling happening tonight. They're kind of stepped up that rhetoric this time around.
Yeah, it got pretty nasty. There was a lot of crosstalk and yelling, and I'd say Ramaswamy probably wins the award for calling the most names. And I think it's what a lot of folks in Iowa are sick of, to be honest, is they're sick of the uncivilness. They're sick of the name calling, and they just want to talk about, what matters to Iowans. And so my guess is that probably doesn't play well to a lot of Iowa voters. So the folks who tried to stay out of that fray a little bit may fare better.
And do you think that these candidates did a good job addressing the issues that truly matter to Iowans as they get ready to come here for that final push before the caucus?
I think they could have done a better job. The last Iowa poll, and I think a lot of national polls show economy and immigration are among the most important. And while they touched on those issues, I think where they really lacked is showing why they're better than Trump, but also why they can beat Biden in a national election. And I think that's one of the unanswered questions of who can beat Biden.
All right, one last question for you. Did you have a moment in this debate that was a real zinger that you thought, yes, this is the highlight of the debate?
Well, for me, I study gender in politics. And so when Nikki Haley said that they're just jealous about all her fundraising, I thought that was a great moment. And she handled the attacks pretty well, saying that she loved all the attention. And whenever you are the target, when you have momentum, it can be a tough place to be. And I think that she really handled that well and had kind of those quick remarks.
All right, Dr. Kelly Winfrey, thank you so much. We look forward to continuing this discussion with you.